Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas, that has happened already, and upcoming Happy New Year, my friends. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I'm Dimitri, this is Velikaz Australia. I'm festively dressed specifically for you, and I'm bringing to you a very special final video of 2024, where I'm going to show you a new channel, a new presenter. We're showcasing a new channel, Russian channel called Diary of a Viking. Very interesting channel, similar size to my own. The person is reviewing variety of cars, interviews owners of the cars, and today I'm translating his interview with a real owner of Tank 500 that he has had for a year and a half. Bear with me, a year and a half. And he shows to us that this tank has 224,000 kilometers on the clock. Process this. 224,000, rounded up to 230, because by the time this is published, it's definitely over that mark anyway. Okay, how did he do it? They are not elaborating. I'm going to tell you straight away. And there is a lot of doubt in his own comments to his own original video as well. People are like, that's BS, it's impossible. Clearly, it's a privately owned car, however, it's used for business purposes. Clearly, they are driving long distances from St Petersburg in Russia to variety of regions of Russia, and the suspicion is, and it has not been elaborated in the video, the suspicion is that it's being used in construction, this car. So some people start immediately theory crafting as to how a car like Tank 500, any other car, can have almost 230,000 kilometers in a year and a half. That's beyond reasonable. I agree with you. Let's have a fun speculation of our own, but I'm just addressing this straight away. It's a real number, not elaborated how it's obtained, but the guy is driving a lot. Let's be clear, he's driving a lot. All right, the owner's name is Anton. Lovely man, very well spoken, has told us a lot about this car, which I'm translating for you in this video. So give this a like if this is of interest to you, if you are a prospective owner or a fresh owner of Tank 500. And because it's Christmas and New Year's season, this video is good news for you. Spoiler alert, good news. He will tell you more about what went wrong, minor things with the vehicle, some other simply insights into the long-term ownership of Tank 500. But I'll tell you straight away, nothing went wrong, nothing massively went wrong, nothing substantially went wrong with this vehicle. Everyone, even on the territory of Russia, where these cars are more welcome than in Australia, let's be clear, where there are a lot of Chinese manufacturers, a lot of Chinese cars, you shouldn't think that therefore Russians must be very positive about those cars. Not all of them are. A lot of them are trolls just like you. A lot of them are badge snobs. A lot of them are like that. Some of them are worse than you. Okay, and it's an aggregate view. It's not a view. It's not a you to you, particularly my friend who may have given me a like, and if you haven't, then you should do it right now, so that we counterweight the trolls, mate. You know, help the good fight. Okay, so let me tell you key points of what's been discussed in this video and what's been shown in this video. Okay, so it's a V6 twin-turbo petrol engine, normal Tank 500. It's not a HEV. It's not something like that. It's just, by the looks of it, just a normal petrol thing. That's all they said when they showed the engine quickly and briefly. The car was bought in May 2023, so about a year and a half old. It was a spontaneous purchase for Anton, as there were no other vehicles of this representative class that were fitting their budget, as well as were obviously needed to represent business. I'm putting feeling the blanks here, kind of reading between the lines here, of what they could afford and what they needed. So they got this car. The fuel consumption over this very long period of time looks realistic. It looks like it does about 20 liters in the city, 20 per 100 kilometers in the city, and varies between 14 to 18 liters on a highway. Obviously with aircon, obviously in harsher weather conditions such as winter that we're seeing here, on icy roads, on other kind of stuff. However, as Anton will elaborate shortly further in this video, he hasn't pushed this car through crazy paces. It's being utilized nicely, and I guess that's the secret. Chinese, not Chinese car, if you are killing it, you will kill it. Toyota, GWM, it doesn't matter. But if you are nice enough to the car, but using it, yep, for real life, looks like it will be fine. Minuses, he straight away points out that initially when they bought the car, the LED headlights were a bit disappointing, and the spot, the size of the lit spot in the dark was a bit small and a bit blurry, whatever. But they didn't replace the lights. It was just some kind of adjustment. He again is being non-specific here, but he says that some kind of adjustment was made kind of by the official representatives of GWM, and it was fine. So not an issue. Main comment, believe it or not, over time is about that the recline angle of the rear seat is too small, is not enough. So they obviously are traveling a lot. I am again reading between the lines, and I'm imagining that either Anton's boss or Anton is the boss who is being driven in the backseat, not just driving the car himself. Apparently, it's a little bit taxing to go on long distances with that insufficient amount of recline of the backseat. I don't know. I don't own a Tank 500, and even if I did, no chance I'd be driving those kind of long distances, so I wouldn't know. But you tell me if you already start discovering it yourself a little bit. Then there is this little, I don't know what to call it, a little module with all those little plugs, including USB ports at the back. Apparently, after obviously being open, closed over a long period of time, it's not like it's broken, but it's either loose or a little bit kind of imperfectly fit there. It sometimes takes a couple of attempts to lock it back in place after you have used it, opened it using some wires and that kind of stuff. Okay, that's very, very minor. They had a small accident, road accident, couple of them actually. So this first one is the rear bumper damage. So clearly the rear bumper was damaged, and people apparently, even they in Russia, saturated with Chinese cars and stuff, apparently people are saying, oh mate, you will wait forever for replacement parts. I heard it personally here in Australia as well. And Australia is a tiny market for Chinese car manufacturers compared to Russia. And even there and even here, people are predicting that you will wait for replacement parts forever. Nothing of the kind. Apparently, according to Anton, within a week they have replaced him a bumper, not a problem. I don't know how indicative it is to you where you are or to me in Australia, but take it for what it is, as all my videos go that way. Okay. There was a frontal collision with a boom gate. Don't ask me how they hit it. Again, they are not elaborating. Clearly someone was not looking. Someone didn't press the brakes in the right time. I have no idea. But they had to replace the windscreen, which apparently was damaged. We don't know the extent of the damage, but they had to replace it. And then there was some minor scuffs, and they had to repaint a little bit of the frontal panels above the frontal wheels and the bonnet. So obviously the boom gate scratched the surface and must have broken the windscreen. All that replacement, all that work was done in 2 weeks, and everything was fine once again. Now, again, everyone is talking about how these cars would not last, especially in Russian winters, over 100,000 kilometers. This is, again, a living proof that these cars can. Very pleasing for me to see, somewhat surprising as well. I'll be honest with you, if you're surprised, I'm just as surprised. But I was super happy to see this video, and I hope that, again, if you have not liked it yet, just for that sheer surprise and Christmas cheer, then now is your chance to give me a quick like. All right. What Anton is pointing out, though, in relation to this sentiment of the car lasting nicely over such a long period of time, is that it's all about how do you drive? And are you looking after it, or are you like riding it into the ground and killing it, basically? So he makes a couple of jokes, which makes sense. He says, listen, if you're not absolutely like flooring the pedal of accelerator and trying to burn that engine under crazy loads, like unreasonable, unless you're doing unreasonable stuff, and unless you're parking it in the middle of a toxic nuclear waste pool, something that will eat through anything, you're gonna be fine. The host here, our Viking host, says, so I assume that the engine and transmission have been already replaced, right? He says, nope. Even the engine and transmission have not been replaced yet. None of that work has been done. Apparently, it's lasting fine. Speaking of transmission, though, I assume it's ZF. I haven't cross-checked because I can't be bothered, and I'm pretty sure it's ZF. So apparently, a lot of owners of Tank 500 have been reporting some bumps, some jerks in that transmission sometimes happening. And what Anton says is that, in his opinion, of a non-specialist but a very long-term owner, or like not very long-term but long-distance owner, he says that he noticed that the bumps are happening when the transmission smartly adapts to your style of driving and kind of sets into a specific gear ratio, whatever it does there smartly, when you are doing a lot of kilometers in specific mode. So for example, if you are going far distance, relatively high speeds on a highway, let's say, then it sets into that mode. And then if you are driving back into town, into the city, and your driving mode changes, that's where you expect those a bit bumps, jerks, whatever you want to call them. It lasts for about 5 to 10 minutes until the transmission settles into the new driving mode. That's his observation. Maybe it's a hypothesis. I think it makes sense to me. Apparently the same adjustment happens in Tank 300 if you drive it a lot, but this adjustment phase is shorter, like up to 5 minutes. Whatever it is. Pluses are, according to him, rather obvious and unsurprising. The car is comfortable, ride is smooth, sound insulation, stock sound insulation apparently is not too bad, and also very nice sound system, he says. So great. So that those built-in speakers, they're not for show, they actually are apparently very good. And suspension is nice as well, he says. The host is asking, has the car ever not started over a year and a half and such long distance driving in winters and stuff? No is the answer. It started all the time, no problems. Has it been used in cold frost winters? Evidently yes, he says. No problems during winter, but again, he didn't go through Siberian wilderness where the thickness of snow, the height of snow is 1.5 meters. It's been used in the city on the highway, but in winter no problem. Yeah, once when him and his wife were driving this car somewhere long distance, I assume, and it was -30. -30. Process that, my Australian and South African friends. Yeah, they stopped on the way somewhere to go to the toilet or whatever, and then when they resumed the drive, the automatically retractable threshold did not retract. It refused to retract. Minor thing, they drove into the city, the temperature dropped, as in warmed up a little bit, the temperature rose, and apparently it retracted fine. There was no repair done. It just is once. Probably electric motor just said, guys and girls, -30, man, I am out of here. Understandable, okay? Now, stability on the road. In the winter, it's obviously a little bit more telling than on the dry asphalt kind of conditions. And he says it's fine, but once again, drive like a normal person. Don't drive like a crazy racer expecting some particular maneuverability from this tank on wheels. Like it's still a big car, it's a tall car, it needs to be driven like such. So, but no problems. Are there any plans to replace this car? No immediate plans to replace the car. He's happy with the car. They looked at Tank 700 in Russia that we also translated and reviewed recently. And apparently, even though prices there are crazy even for Tank 500 right now, Tank 700, he says, way too overpriced, not worth it. That's literally what he said in his opinion, and by their prices that are irrelevant to us, that's why I'm not translating them, it makes sense. What he said, it's crazy, okay? So he actually plans to keep this vehicle until at least 350,000 kilometers before he seriously starts considering to replace it. That's what he said. Didn't say what he considers other than this, but that's a pretty generous, not generous, but like a pretty optimistic assumption that it will last. It's fine, nothing is wrong, keep driving, okay? Nothing special. He shows the boot briefly, nothing special here. He only points out that because they do long distance driving a lot, they added this booster for cellular signal. Apparently it's an aftermarket, obviously, addition. There are wires, there is this and that to help with phone connectivity on those long trips where I understand the cellular signal fades. But what does it do? And don't ask me if it contributes to your boldness. I have no idea. I never even heard of those things before, but this is what he's showing. They briefly also look at interior and seats because you would expect the most wear and tear to happen on the seats because people are there all the time in this car driving long distance. No problem from what I can see. And they even saying, wow, like even the host here who asks these questions, he's like in disbelief, constant disbelief. He's like, really? What? Oh my god. There you go, my friends. So don't drive kids who spill acidic liquids onto your seats, and don't park in acid pools somewhere, and your GWM vehicle such as Tank 500 apparently is gonna be fine. There is a similar review on Tank 300 with some more specificity there, so let me know in the comments down below if this was of interest to you, especially when we talk such long distance things. I think he has a video, the Viking here has a video about Tank 300 use. in heavy loads, towing, other kind of stuff, but I think he drove it for about 70,000. So a lot less than this, but still very respectable. If you want that video, you know what to do. Like, comment, all that kind of stuff. I wish you a very happy new year, my friends. Next video is going to be published in the new year, 2025. And I'm just reminding you, if you're still watching, especially if you would like to participate in our Christmas and New Year's giveaway, sponsored by my spin-off channel, Auto Gear Reviews, and our generous sponsors of automotive car electronics, many of them. Links always in the description of the video, discounts for you, everything else. If you would like to participate, watch the video that explains to you the rules of participation, of entering the draw. The draw will happen mid-January. That's when the entries will close. I will pick 5 winners and you will get your prize if you are in Australia. Only in Australia. Anyone can enter, but only Australian ones might get something from Auto Gear Reviews from me. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year. I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye for now.